So we are into game 2, coming up against another criminal ID this time. It's Geist, and once again we have a hand which is looking a little bit tricky. So no ice is bad. Let's send that back, and more happy with this. So hopefully we'll actually get to trigger lots of Skorpios abilities with the Geist deck, hopefully trashing all their stuff. And we'll start out, we don't have an agenda yet, so I'm just going to ice HQ and R&D on this one. Play the hedge fund. Next turn we can play this IPO and probably just draw some cards. So they're just doing their normal sort of setup. Geist is normally actually, I've found, relatively easy to beat with rush decks in the past, even before Skorpios existed, because a lot of the time they need a few turns to set up their economy engine. Is there anything on that we want to trash? Not really. I'm happy just leaving these four guys. They're not too important. If they do get to levy, then this puts stuff back into their deck, but I'm not particularly bothered about that. Spy camera, if they trash, I might get rid of. Okay, wraparound is fine, so let's draw a card. I want to put Enigma on the innermost because it can be really nasty when they get to the bottom of the server and then you hit them with a click loss, and play that. I think we'll layer it so it's Sapper, second ice, wraparound on the third. So we again have protection against spearfishing. It means they need a breaker to get into the inner part of the server, which is where we get them with the Sapper. Okay, hostage. Another tech trader. Yeah, so really right now I want to draw agendas. That would be absolutely great. So next time I think we'll probably draw a card and then install these two pieces of ice. Maxwell James is pretty annoying. But we should be able to, again, layer the ice so that we don't get completely blown out. Yeah, so they have to run HQ first as well, so we do need to get through this ice wall. Right, so install this onto server 1. And install this onto server 1. Easy. So yeah, I mean, with Marcus Batty in hand, really just an agenda needed before we do anything else. Get a third tech trader. Brandon's getting there. I'll kill that spy camera. Yeah, this is something where if they do manage to get through a deck again, I do want tools like this being removed, because this is actually part of how they win the game, is by not making too many runs and seeing the top card of R&D. Especially right now where we have this Sapper. If they actually decided to just do a quick run, it would be a problem. Okay, I see the Sapper on top. Let's draw, and I'll put an Enigma on R&D to make it so they need to get through, and then we can trash a program if they have a code gate breaker. Intelligent Archives, so we're going to be getting rich. This is fine. I think I'm probably just going to score this hostile takeover, although it might be more useful to just try and draw into a harder to score agenda. We can get this later, of course. Okay, there we go. That is what I wanted. I think it's going to be very unlikely that they can get into the server even without Marcus Batty in it, so let's go like that. Yeah, this is very solid. 3 types of ice, Enigma on the inside to give them a click loss, protection against both of the criminal bypass effects. Alright, well that could be a problem. Hopefully they'll access the Sapper. Or we can just hit that twice, that's fine. So I think I'm going to put this on archives, and then we'll just move this up twice. So yeah, it would be nice if they'd hit the Sapper, but there's 3 cards in here I don't want them to access and only 1 I do. Okay, first icebreaker installed. So we'll take this up. Do we want to go over? I don't think we do. I think we just want to take this now. And then I'll put this into server 1. And put Marcus Batty into server 1 as well. So yeah, so we can keep chaining things. So it seems weird to install hostile takeovers, but a lot of the time I actually just want to save myself clicks, effectively use all the clicks to score agendas rather than trying to be clever about it. Spy cameraing, I will remove it again. See, the real secret upside to doing this is that they'll never have 6 in play. Now, next turn, so we'll almost certainly score this hostile takeover. Okay, well, that's kind of useful. So they're installing this source, but unless they install a 4 guy, which I think they've binned all of, that will not last very long. We're just going to triple advance that hostile takeover and trash their hate card. That's fun. Let's remove it from the game as well. So yeah, that's actually quite an annoying card for us just because it does slow us down. We're obviously not fast advancing most of our agendas, but we are trying to score as quickly as possible, and this literally slows you down when you're doing that. Indicates to me we probably do have Film Critic in their deck, which will be a reasonable counter to this Hunter Seeker. Okay, and we now do have all of the program trashers, all of the icebreakers available. So in combination with Maxwell James, they have a reasonable amount of pressure now, but we're still not behind. We're on 3 points. We have a 4th one in hand, which should be easy to score when we want to. We have Ice still in hand and the credits to res it. This is really where you want to be. There's very little waiting around with, you know, money coming in. You saw when we did the deck list that there's illegal arms factories, but apart from that we don't really have any drip econ in this deck. Every action you take has to be either drawing into agendas and ice or installing and then scoring agendas using that ice. Okay, fast track. Let's see. With their rig as it stands, they could potentially get in quite effectively. So we could try and stack these a bit more. I think that might be correct. I might just try and stack triple Destroyer on this server. If we go Colossus and then Sapper, and then we'll install the hostile takeover here. I want to put the Sapper on the outside, I think. So this is costing us a little bit. Yeah, so this is something that you do relatively often against Geist, is build these deep servers, because obviously with these one-use breakers, they're actually limited in how far they can get through. So the plan here is to just make a really difficult server to get into and then put our agendas in it. So assuming we score this hostile takeover, the next turn what we can do is we can fast track for an Atlas, put it in the server and advance it once. We'll then take that up to 4 counters the next turn. So I'll res this Ice Wall because we want them to have to trash a spike to get in. Yep, that's fine. So we do have Maxwell live now, but it's not that bad. Okay, that is a problem. So, wow, big influence spend. Right, if they run now, I think we're still okay. So let's count this. Although we are a bit low on credits. Yeah, we might be too poor to actually do this. But it is going to require pretty much all of their tools to get in. So let's make them have it. Yeah, so I think we're probably going to give up this 1 point agenda, but after that they're actually not in such a good spot. So we're not going to res the Colossus. They would Maxwell James that. We're going to make them Maxwell James this other Sapper, and then I think we'll res this Enigma. I think that's correct. Oh, I suppose they could just let us fire, but it's better for them to be using their trash abilities. Yep. And let's say, yep. Cool. And then we'll do this. We can trash a crowbar, and then we'll remove that last one from the game. In we go, and they can have 1 point, and they do also kill the Marcus Batty, which is somewhat annoying. So for our next turn, we could take credit and Hunter Seek or something, although I'm really not sure if that's necessary at this point. I would rather wait. If they have any permanent icebreakers, then this is a lot more useful against those rather than just destroying one use of something like a spike. I don't think we're quite ready to... we could just go for another Oaktown renovation. They have Dean Lister, but after we install in advance, we'd only be able to res this wraparound, which they can't break. But they do need to install 2 additional icebreakers. We've seen 2 crowbars and 1 shiv. And I feel like it's a reasonable chance that they have it now. They've drawn most of their deck, so I don't really want to go for it until I can res some more stuff. I'll draw. Take a credit. And just take another credit. Yeah, so we just want to get up a little bit higher so we can res, wrap around, and another sapper. So yeah, don't think they... okay, Desperado and then Sneak Dooring again. We can't res that. That's fine, they'll make a bit of money, but there's very little in our hand that we care about them accessing. So if we draw an agenda, we probably have to put it in here. But if we don't draw an agenda, then that's fine, because we can just take a little bit of money, get back into a spot where we can safely score out. Haven't drawn much of our burst economy, so there's a reasonable chance we get that. Okay, so draw that Atlas. So if we install it in server 1 and then take 2 credits, we now have enough for wraparound and sapper, which is making this server fairly effective. So we need Shiv to get through this. Then they'll have to spend the spike to break this wraparound. They'll need another Shiv to get through the sapper, and then they'd need a crowbar to get through the Enigma. So I think we're limiting them quite heavily. They would have to basically play exactly those cards to get in, and it looks like they're just going to pressure R&D. I will let this happen. I don't want to res either of these ice because it would put me on 2 low credits to score the Atlas. Siphon would also stop us here. But it would just be a tempo hit. It wouldn't, shouldn't let them score the agenda. Haven't seen any Siphons yet. I'm wondering if they're actually playing them. Well, few of these guys' decks don't play Account Siphon, which I think is incorrect because it's a really good card, but a lot of them are very all-in on the trashing, especially when you have spy cameras, and if you're playing cards like the Source, then your plan is obviously a little bit different. Okay, so up against another Mammon, it's going to be fun. Do have a wraparound, and we can break for Rumour Mill at least. Which of these cards is least relevant? Hunter Seeker is actually good because it kills Mammon. Don't really know if we need this Jackson Howard. Actually, Colossus. I think this is kind of unrealistic for us to hope to res this. Once again, we need to go up to a little bit more money before we try and make the final scoring play, I think. We do have another Maxwell, which is somewhat frustrating. It's effectively just a 1-use breaker for anything. Well, it does require them to cash in the spike, so it's not as amazing as it might sound with this sort of setup. Oh, I suppose they can use Mammon now. Yeah, so we do have to sort of fade single R&D accesses for a little while. I definitely should have removed that room mill from the game. Oops. Hopefully it won't matter. Okay, there's a shiv and sneak dooring in. Not a problem. Nothing in our hand that we care about. Yeah, surprised we haven't seen a film critic actually, because especially with the source, you'd expect that in here to try and dodge the hunter seekers. They have been playing hostages, so seems like a natural thing to do. Okay. Just want to make some money so we can hopefully play this IPO soon. What are we getting rid of here? I think Jackson Howard. Yeah, goodbye Jackson. So fast track is better than Jackson in this situation because as soon as we are ready to try and score an agenda, we fast track for it. It's possible that we want to just wait until they steal one of ours so we can remove the Mammon from the game. Spy camera, yep. I'll remove it. Don't like those cards. And yeah, do they even have the influence for Levy? Let's have, I think, 2 on this, 5 on this. There's, yeah, 7, got Peddler, they have Temujin. Okay, yeah, they probably still have a Levy in here. And install a crowbar and another camera. Okay, Arms Factory is not the worst here, so we can put it in here and then take some money and make them run. So we might res it if we want to after a couple of turns. It does let us get through R&D lock, which is one of the upsides of this card, is drawing that extra card. Means you can easily get through when the runner is trying to lock you out of the game. Especially with a deck that normally leaves R&D relatively unprotected. So if we res it this turn, we can't play our IPO unless we draw a hedge fund, which isn't terrible odds at this point. Yep, so same old rumour mill. Should have removed that from the game. Oh, okay, so yeah, so I think they're just going to try and spend counters for this. Okay, if they want to. Okay, so we're going to Dean Lister so they can break everything with Mammon. I don't think it's worth us trying to tax those counters, so just going to let them through. And they can spend 6 credits if they want to trash. Yeah, so it's sort of a minor upside, but having this in the deck does mean you can play that actual Never Advanced bluffing game, which a lot of Corp decks want to be playing. Credit, I think we're just going to put another one in there and play IPO. There we go. Even if we're just wasting their time is still valuable to us. We'll probably want to install this wraparound somewhere. So they still have a spike installed, which is a problem. Honestly, I would quite like them to steal an agenda so we can kill the AI. Got that 2-card Street Peddler. So yeah, if we activate this, I mean we might draw agendas, which might be slightly awkward, but again, I kind of want them to steal an agenda. We should probably res the ice this time. So, not doing anything here. Oh. Okay, we didn't want to run. I guess they might want to run HQ first so that their Maxwell James is online. Okay, or we might just want to install another Shiv. Yeah, so this rig's pretty good now. We're able to break 3 of them without needing to spend anything. Okay, but they actually want to. I assume they're going to levy with their last click. I think we'll res Colossus. Costs some real money if they want to use Mammon to break it, and it does have 2 subroutines, so it actually is kind of awkward for them if they don't want to take the tag. Yeah, these multi-subroutine ice are actually doing their job. Yep, so getting rid of a spike would be useful. Or they could spend another one of these and then crowbar, I suppose. Nope, okay, and yeah, I'll just let them probably use a crowbar on this last one. And we can access the illegal arms factory. If they don't kill it, I'm probably going to res it, because this is actually quite decent for us in the current situation, I think. If we draw a hostile takeover, then we also break the rumor mill. Yep. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and levy. Alright, so we drew a hedge fund. And hostile takeover, okay. Hedge and install this in the server. Really, like, just keep on making them check things, and then when they get in this time, assuming they do, we will kill the AI and remove it from the game, which puts us in a much better spot. This game has definitely been a bit more of a slog than I would expect with a rush deck like this. We didn't quite manage to get the sort of speedy start that we wanted, and then they actually got their rig installed, which makes it awkward for us to score agendas, but also we just haven't been drawing many agendas. Obviously we've had fast track in hand for a while, but I'd rather just go for it when it feels correct. Although, yeah, I suppose it is possible we should have just gone for it recently and then Hunter Seekered as a counteract. So, by making them check things, it's actually, yeah, I think they might be starting to think about how we want to do this. But Mammon is eating up a lot of counters, so a lot of credits for those, because they have to plan in advance what we're going to do with it. They had about, 30 credits recently, and they're down to 10. Obviously it's Geist, so they will recover when they start running again, but it's not as crazy as it could be. And I mean, this says to me that they're definitely going back into this server this turn, because why would you put 5 counters on this if you weren't going to do that? Okay, in we go again. I may even res for Sapper this time. So we didn't see a film credit, which indicates that they probably aren't playing it. Yeah, so again they're firing off these one-use breakers. They are using Mammon to break this one, but the more of those that they use during this run, the better. So bear in mind that once we've killed this, like, it just becomes so much more difficult to get into any of our servers. I think we'll just let that sit. If we res this, they spend a counter on it, and then they probably... no, we don't even need to crowbar that anyway, because of the... it's their last click, so we only need to break one subroutine here. So we can't really benefit by making them break that. Yep. So get 1 point, but they are going to get punished for it. That's slightly annoying. Going to draw a card here, and then remove this from the game. Although I think they probably don't have any way of getting things back anymore now that levy's gone. And next time we'll install this, take a credit and play IPO. So yeah, they're drawing back up. Yeah, so I suppose they're going to try and assemble a rig that can get into that server again, which seems like a valid strategy. Right now they can also use sneak door here, so this will make them spend their crowbar if they want to get in. I'm okay with this. Okay, that seems fine by me. There's only one agenda in our hand, so hopefully we can dodge that, that's fine. So if we put the Atlas in the server now, take some money, do we think we can get in? So running here and then there. So what we need is basically an extra shiv to get in past this. What I might do is put an Enigma on HQ, so we then need a crowbar to get in. One of their crowbars is gone, one's gone there as well. Ah, wait, they don't have another shiv. Okay, didn't realise that. That makes things a little bit easier, because now the Maxwell James can't be used on the Enigma, which means this Sapper is live, so I think we just put this in server 1, take 2 credits. Yeah, so if they don't have another shiv, then these are still live, which is huge for us, so yeah, so our best bet would be like run, use a spike to get in, run here, use shiv, D-res, use another spike, and then hope to crowbar this, but that's actually trashing a lot of their icebreakers, so their strength might even drop below 2. And also we have another Sapper here, so that extra Sapper does delay us by a turn if we wanted to try and score. Yeah, so we'll go down to 2 credits if we res the Sapper. Not ideal, but I think we might be able to lock this out. Let's see, I think they're probably just digging for their breakers, but with 3 clicks, including one that has to be a run, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to actually make this work. So yeah, like, building this 5 ice remote was expensive, but I think it really is one of the best ways to beat this type of Geist deck. They can be really good at just penetrating like a 1 or 2 ice server, and doing it this way means that every time they want to come in and get a single point, or 2 points, but we've been cleverly bluffing them, they'll need to actually trash half of their rig to get in, and from there you can make it so they just can't do it enough to win the game. Okay, well, not letting them win by doing this. The most they can score is a 2-pointer, so I'm fine. Okay, they get Malice, but so do we, so that is the end of the game. Just let them discard and then we'll score out. Yeah, so that took longer than I would hope with this deck, but we still got there eventually, and we did that using the cards in our deck to do what we're meant to. We didn't have to do any sort of weird bluffs apart from maybe that hostile takeover, but still we're just making them run down the server to get it. Then if they don't run down the server, we score the points. If they do, we hunt a Seeker them, and that lets us win the game. Okay then, so we're up 1 and lost 1, so let's see how we do in game 3.